Civil Trial Court is now in session. Judge Crisame Palmero presiding. Please be seated.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Calling the case of General Registered 1234 People of the Philippines versus June Ray Clark. Are both sides ready?
Ready for the people, Your Honor.
Ready for the defense, Your Honor.
Will the clerk please swear in the jury?
Will the jury please stand and raise your right hand? Do each of you swear that you will fairly try the case before this court and that you will return a true verdict according to the evidence and the instructions of the court? So help you God, please say I do.
I do.
You may be seated.
Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the defendant has been charged with the crime of robbery, taking the motorcycle and exert a force by threatening the owner. The evidence will show that the NMOX was taken on the night of June 11, 2022. The next day, the defendant was arrested in the 7-Eleven store, was parked of motorcycle. The defendant's fingerprint were found on the key used by the suspect. The evidence I present will prove to you that the defendant is guilty by charge.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, under the law, my client is presumed innocent until proven guilty. During this trial, you will hear no real evidence against my client. You will come to know the truth that Mr. June Ray Caro was just walking way home. When the crime happened in that night of June 11, 2022, Mr. June Ray Caro was trying to help and do the right thing by returning the motorcycle to its owner. Therefore, our verdict is not guilty.
The prosecution may call its first witness.
The people call the owner of the motorcycle.
Please stand. Raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you shall give in the case before this court shall be the truth, nothing but the whole truth? So help you God.
I do.
Please state your first and last name.
Archie Agape.
You may be seated.
Mr. Kagape, what happened the night of June 11, 2022?
I was riding on my motorcycle way home when suddenly one man standing in the dark in the street corner.
When you saw the man, what happened next?
I was stopped and he grabbed a knife and then threatening me and wants to get my motorcycle.
Mr. Kagape, did the suspect pointed you a knife?
Yes, I was.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
The witness is excused. The prosecution may call the next witness.
The people called the arresting officer.
Please stand. Raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you shall give in the case before this court shall be the truth, nothing but the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your first and last name.
Vincent Birik.
You may be seated.
Officer Birik, where did you see the suspect?
In 7-Eleven store, he was sitting there as well as the motorcycle was also there kept parked near the parking area.
Officer B, is the suspect the motorcycle was parked in the 7-Eleven?
Yes, I do. The plate number is 55422XD.
Thank you. No further question, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to ask any question?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Officer Bay, how can you say that my client was the one who do the crime?
Yes, because according to Mr. Kagape, when we do the investigation, he said that the suspect has a tattoo in his arm. And also the keys was recovered, then Mr. Kagape was confirmed that he owned the keys in his motorcycle.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
The witness is excused. Does the prosecution have any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. The people called the fingerprint examiner.
Please stand. Raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you shall give in the case before this court shall be the truth, nothing but the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please state your first and last name.
Joseph Salik.
You may be seated.
Mr. Salipot, where did you work?
Forensic examiner in our police department. Yes, ma'am. I tested for fingerprint analysis.
Did you find any fingerprint on this key?
Yes, ma'am. I found 3 flattened fingerprint in that key.
So can you point it to us in this court? Who is the fingerprint identifier?
Yes, ma'am. It's Mr. Caro.
No further question, Your Honor. Thank you.
Does the defendant have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Mr. Salipo, according to your statement, you found 3 latent fingerprints.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
How confident you are that the fingerprints found in the keys was my client's fingerprint?
Yes, I assure you that the fingerprint found in the key was the defendant's fingerprints. Because we do the matching of the latent fingerprints and his fingerprints, then it's the match by the defendant's fingerprints.
So the 2 are? No further questions, Your Honor.
The witness is excused.
Your Honor, the people rest their case.
Is the defense ready with its case?
Yes, Your Honor. May I call the defendant?
You may proceed.
Please stand. Please raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you shall give in before this court shall be the truth, nothing but the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your first and last name.
Then write down.
You may be seated.
Mr. Caro, were you on the night of June 11
I was walking to my home that night.
in the same street where Mr. Agape passing on his way?
Yes.
Mr. Caro, did you saw Mr. Agape in the night of June 11?
Yes, I saw him and I also remember he passed me.
Mr. Caro, did you saw the crime happen?
Yes, I saw. There are 2 men in arguments. When I saw Mr. Agape in the ground, I rushed to go help, but the criminal escaped. That's not true. You're a liar. Yes.
Silent in the court! Silent in the court.
Mr. Caro, are you the one who's sitting in the 7-Eleven store?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Caro, did the officer give you a warrant of arrest?
No, they arrested me without issuing warrant of arrest.
Mr. Caro, are you the one who do the crime?
No, I'm not. I understand. I'm not guilty.
Thank you, Mr. Caro. I have no further question, Your Honor.
Does the prosecution have any question?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Mr. Caro, how can you prove that you are not innocent? when the evidence is especially taken by you. Can you
No.
prove to us?
No comment. I stick on my statement. I'm not guilty.
I have no further question, Your Honor.
The witness is excused. Does the defense rest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the final argument?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor. Your Honor and ladies and gentlemen in the jury, we prove to you that the defendant is guilty. No further question about the two things we must prove to you. First, the defendant was one who takes the motorcycle, and Mr. Kagape was telling the truth that he also pointed a gun. He is victim. My client is a victim. And Mr. Kagape are claiming he is not. The defendant is guilty and he tried to sell the motorcycle.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Mr. Caro is not guilty in the crime of robbery, and also my client's fingerprints were found in the case are not belong to him. Nor he was trying to help Mr. Agape into the real suspect. The prosecution has presented no real evidences towards my client. Therefore, my client is must find not guilty.
The promulgation of the case, General Registered number 1234, People of the Philippines versus John Ray Caro, guilty beyond reasonable doubt in violating the crime of robbery against Mr. Archie Cagape. The accused in sentence and reclusion temporal according to 293, who are guilty of robbery whose intent to gain shall take any personal property belongings to another by means of violence against or intimidation. So ordered.